The Central Bank of Nigeria said that the federal government's revenue and expenditure has underperformed between January and May this year, negatively impacting economic development. A member of the Monetary Policy Committee of the Apex Bank, Adeola Adenikinju, disclosed this in personal statements by the MPC members for last meeting. Now, according to Adenikinju, the federal government's retained revenue stood at 1.673 billion naira, lower than the pro-rata target of about 1.968 billion naira. He explained that this happened due to the underperformance of the Federal Account Allocation Committee receipts, gross independent revenue also. And now this morning, joining me to explain this further is Kasim Garba Kurfi, who is the CEO at Securities and Funds. He joins me from Lagos, Nigeria. Kasim, thank you so much for joining us. Hello, Kasim.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Let's break it down. Now, in the 2023 budget, a total revenue estimate of about 10.49 trillion naira was marked, and it had an aggregate expenditure inclusive of gross operating expense and, of course, project-tied loans projected to about 21.83 trillion naira. Overall budget deficit was expected at 11.34 trillion naira to be financed through domestic sources and foreign sources of about 1.76 trillion naira, and debt service cost of about 6 trillion naira was also pegged at that. Now, already spending cost has exceeded income possibilities. Were they actually being realistic, looking at the grim picture that the Nigerian economy is? So when you look at the totality of these estimates and what is being expended and what is being allocated, is that a true picture of things, or you think that they went overboard?
Well, I think their estimate may be realistic in view of the two things that happened. Our major source of our revenue is either from the tax or from the exchange rate. Now, the local product that we are selling, the petroleum, has already gone up. So the government is no longer subsidizing. So part of the expenditure that is gone for subsidy is gone. Secondly, because they are exchanging the dollar not at the official rate as was before, now they are doing it at the single exchange rate that gives them between 30 to 40% increase in the revenue through exchange dollar. And this is an additional revenue to the federal, state, and local government. So in view of these two actions, we have seen that they are likely to meet up or even surpass their expectation on the revenue. However, they need to see that they tackle the theft of crude oil. Because if we can export more crude oil, as the price is going up, more revenue will inflow to the nation, and that will stabilize our exchange rate.
Okay, now you've mentioned about crude oil sales and price, that the possibility that the price might go up, and you've also mentioned fuel subsidy removal. But then when you look at the previous government, it mentioned that it was spending more than it earned. That was about having government expenditure exceed revenue. And the Central Bank of Nigeria in the first quarter of 2023 confirmed that the fiscal operations of the government resulted in a deficit. So if you look at the past administration, that's the immediate past administration and this current administration, what do you think that government should have done differently to reverse the trend?
Well, two things. As more revenue is coming, the government has to be very careful on how they spend that money so that it will not escalate the inflation to go higher. That is one. Secondly, they should also do everything humanly possible to see that the theft of the crude oil is brought to the barest minimum. So that instead of selling 1.2 billion barrels per day, we'll be able to sell 1.6 barrels, increase of 400,000 barrels per day. If they can achieve it, it's a lot of revenue to the nation, and it will stabilize our exchange rate fluctuation. So I think the government, they have to eye there and do everything humanly possible to see that they achieve that target. If they do that, that will give them relief. Because today, they have reduced our expenditure on services that from 90% to about 75%. So if they can do more, that will give them the more time that will be able to address the infrastructure decay that we are lacking.
So invariably, Kasim, you're saying that if government is able to implement these two areas that you have mentioned, it will help it generate enough funds to run governments, to run its expenditure, and of course to fuel the economy. Because it's always been said that the only way to galvanize the growth of an economy is to see how capital investments come to that economy. So, but looking at the pre-existing situations, do you think that is actually feasible? Do you think that is sustainable if you look at the short and the long term?
I think it's only sustainable if they are able to convince the foreign investors who will bring more foreign exchange in terms of development. Because the former government lacked the ability to bring foreign investors who will bring the foreign exchange into our economy. Consequently, they end up expanding the economy through debt. And that debt has taken us to almost to the point that we may not be able to borrow again. So the best way, as the president went to India and seek for more foreign investors, he has to keep on doing that, not only in India, across the world. So the more we can get foreign investors to come and invest into our economy, that will expand our economy, bring employment for unemployed youth, and that will also bring more foreign exchange that will stabilize our exchange rate. By the time we stabilize and we are able to achieve better production in the crude oil, we'll be able to mitigate all this. Even within this short period from now to December, it's doable.
All right, Kasim Garba Kurfi, CEO of Securities and Funds. That's the much we can actually take on the show. Thank you so much for giving us, sparing us your time anyways. Now, as the nation continues to actually grapple with economic uncertainty, stakeholders are looking to the government for a strategic and flexible approach to fiscal management, and one that can adapt to changing circumstances will actually help in prioritizing the welfare and the development of Nigeria and its people. So we'll hope that something will be done in those lights. Thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of Business Edge. Do not forget that you can visit our social media platforms at New Central TV website, www.newcentral.africa, and equally download our mobile app on App Store and Play Store. We'll be back next week, same time, 11 a.m. West African time, for another dose of different business angle discussions on the show. My name is Lekan Onabanjo. Enjoy the rest of your day and have a great weekend.